and you can stop me at any point of time. Just ask questions. So again, welcome on this call. If more people join, I'll let them in, and then we can continue. So let me try to understand.
By the way, to the topic of recording, do you publish it openly?
Not really, but when I take some segment of it, and then if suppose you ask me a question, then I take that question, segment it, and make a short version of it. And if you guys are saying, okay, it's not something that you wanna, I'll not record it also. So that's completely on your wish.
Okay. I'm not sure who's looking at that. I don't want to see to get into discussion. Oh, Norbert doesn't write himself. That's sort of, I don't know. But so I'm putting on off my videos.
That's perfectly fine.
Because I do write myself.
Yeah. I think CrawlQ also let you to write yourself and not completely, hand over the things to AI. So that's also something that you can keep in mind. I think that's a kind of normal dilemma with AI tools, because at some point of time you want to make sure that you are in control and what it produces is up to the quality, up to the standard, right? And sometimes you really want to have that control, and that's the reason that in CrawlQ we have some inputs first to make sure that you are in full control of your thoughts, of your brand voice, of your domain knowledge, and you're just like steering this seed input, and then it's just expanding on them. And I'm sure it's not like completely going at random direction. So that's something ensured with by construction in CrawlQ. So let me share my screen, and I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So at any point you can interrupt me, and I'll try to take questions maybe, and then try to understand where are the difficulties. Is that a good idea? And of course, Norbert, you can also do that same way. You just ask questions, Ursula, where you are, and I try to answer those questions. Sure. So let's share the screen. So first of all, I think if you are not yet there, easiest way to start with CrawlQ is to look for some of these workspaces which are very close, if they are very close to what you are doing already. I mean, for example, product development, agile, Scrum, methodology. I'm not sure if there is some workspace like this. You can tell me, I can create one for you, and then you can tweak it for it. Same for schedule for yourself, Ursula yourself. Look, something is there, and if not, then I'm happy to create one which is quite close what you're looking for, right? But maybe I'll take a topic which is more familiar to you. Shall we take something and then work on it? Or maybe I can take your questions, like where you are stuck at the moment, where you are.
I'm just, to be honest, this is Shadell. I'm just kind of getting started with the tool. The business that I'm looking to do, I'm looking for new business owners or business owners that are small business owners that are struggling to get their businesses up and running. So I'm creating a program for them, and then helping them to go through the stages of, identifying their niche, researching their niche, creating templates, so just kind of doing a whole program for those type of individuals.
Right, right.
And I was trying to, maybe narrow it down to maybe in the marketing industry, or so I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I should niche that that specific yet. But I know if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. So I was thinking maybe in the digital marketing space first, and then get familiar with that and get that up and running, and then be able to niche down even more.
Right, right. So it seems you have a couple of ideas, and those
Mhm.
ideas might still be broad, but you can work on a specific audience and may try to niche them down, because more you niche down, like more you go
Mhm.
specific, narrow, more better result you will get with CrawlQ, because that at that moment it get differentiation between the generic tools versus the specific content that you wanted to create, right? So
Yep.
maybe I'll take this example, like this was like how to get into digital marketing. Does that sounds okay?
Yeah.
Norbert, Ursula, with you as well. We take one example.
Yeah, fine.
For me, it's all okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
Sure. So when you create
So-
Workspace, it asks you a couple of initial questions, and I will try to repeat those questions.
And are those workspaces what we have to pay for? Those are what we have to pay for now because they've been done?
There are two types. One, some are free. So when you go to marketplace, you can check some of them are free. And these three are of course some limited, but it gives you some idea. So for example, you're looking for SMB solopreneur, and you can take this as an example and tweak it. So that's easiest way to start. And of course, we will add more of these in the free category. But some of them really lot of need a lot of work, right? You have to research them, create them. It's not like they are just created out of the thin air. They are based on some research. So every time we put workspace here, it is almost like maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 2 hours of research. And our goal is to have more than 500 workspaces here. So you can imagine it's a lot of work behind the scene, but that's the easiest way to start and then tweak it later where you wanted to change the inputs or things. But if you are a little bit patient, you can also start completely from a scratch, and it just you provide some 8-9 inputs, and from there it goes very straightforward.
I have a question. These paid paid workspaces. I mean, you have a specific target group in your mind, and this is already predefined. So you predefine sort of a target group and websites where you look up where you use the Athena on, however that works.
Right.
So this is already preset. But if you have an own deviating target group, then you have to adapt what's in that paid.
Yes.
Workspace.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So imagine a case where you are affiliate, blogger, you don't have your own business, but one of the business is very close to you. Maybe you don't want to spend that much time. You wanted to pick up one which is close to you, what you're doing, and you already get like all the research done for you. You just need to focus on what content you want to create, right? If it is not your own business. Does that make sense? Like if you are a blogger or an affiliate and you don't own a business, then you just can pick up something and then start creating content. For example, if you're in a niche of dog walking, now you don't run a business of dog walking, but you're creating affiliate article on dog walking. So you will, it doesn't matter whether you own this business. I mean, you don't want to own the business, right? And you don't own the business in that way. So you won't go into detail of who is business owner, and you just wanted to hit to the target audience in a right way. And if you wanted to adapt to a specific market or within that something, you can always make it more specific. right?
Oh,
So
okay.
does that explain, like these are the done for you workspaces? When I call something workspace, I want to be clear here that we are on the same page. Workspace refers to one single persona, one single persona. So if you're running a business, if you have an email list and this email list has only referring to one single persona, for example, CMO or head of procurement department, or let's say digital marketers, then we are referring to one single person, the persona. But
Okay.
if in your email list you have different segments, like some, let's say you have 1,000 email, and in this email list you have different segments, like
Mhm.
say 100 refers to digital marketers, 250 to SaaS founders, another 300 to another category. Then you want to create separate workspace because you don't want to mix the pain point of digital marketer and the car wash, somebody who owns the car wash, or somebody who's roof repairs business is completely different, right? So
Okay.
you wanted to see how much different variety of segment you have, where which segment you wanted to focus more, and depending on that you create workspace. So just a confusing term, but workspace is persona workspace dedicated to one type of target audience.
Okay.
Does this all also is true? Is this also true for the product that you have, the service that you offer? So do you have is it target group, so persona and in specific service or product, or can you have in a workspace one target group, persona, and different services for this?
I think I would, because the niche, the definition of niche here is the target group and the problem you are solving. So
Okay.
if the product and the target group is solving the same problem, right? You're solving the same problem. Let's say you might have a, how to say, like a portable charging device, right? Portable charging device. Now, a portable charging device may be a bigger size, a smaller size, maybe a fancy portable charging device. As long as it solves the same problem of the same audience, I would recommend to have one persona. But if you are having a variation of the product which also solves a different problem, then I will recommend to create a new workspace. And
Understood.
there also another use case of workspace, because you can also design one workspace which solves top of the funnel problem. So this workspace is more focused on top of the awareness. You can clone the same workspace and change like its main topic of interest, which is more middle of the funnel. And again, you can change and you can go to the bottom of the funnel. So this way, you can create a customer journey just by cloning those workspaces. This is another use case of workspace. You can also test your two ideas. Marketers call it A/B testing. So in one, you are targeting 3D printing for students, and 3D printing design for, let's say, professionals. And you can sort of test which content appeal to which one. So you can also do a conventional sort of A/B testing with your messages. The whole idea here is to find the right message which resonate with our specific audience, right? If you have some rough idea where what is your product, what problem, pain point you're solving, you just need to input those 8-9 questions and their answers, and then rest is heavy lifted by Athena. It's almost like each workspace you can think of a domain expert, someone as a domain expert. I mean, when you talk about agile practices or coaching or what to cover in retrospective, right? You can start creating a workspace saying that 9 to 5 corporate professionals who are learning agile wanted to do better with retrospective. Then go further with this and narrow it down. And then you will cover the specific topics because you're really customizing this for your use case. for your persona. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly, yeah.
Mhm.
And what's that icon? Looks like an arm, like a muscle. What does that
Right.
what does
Right.
that mean? Because some have them and some do not. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. So these are preset workspaces, and some of them are trained. Trained means Athena is trained on them. And
Oh,
when
okay.
I say Athena is trained, that means we have pre-trained it, and those which are not trained, you can go and copy them and train it. For example, this ADSD pain point, it's not having the symbol because we haven't trained Athena on it. But when you copy this or when you process this, you can always train Athena. Whenever you take some workspace pre-existing, is done for you, done for your research, and done for your example content. And it's just like a preset research, which just you can adapt to your use case. Does that make sense?
Yes. And are those workspaces you guys created, or can anybody in the community create them and put them there? How does that work?
Currently, it's only our team
Okay.
has created those. The idea is that we also allow users to create those workspace and make them available for other people. So it's a kind of a marketplace. The first step of the marketplace is we ourselves are creating a demand and supply for this. So for first, like understanding this, and then next stage is that we can allow users to create their own marketplace. For example, in your account, you can create and invite other users or sell to other users. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We also have on the call Thomas, Alexandra. Hi, Alexandra. How are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Good to have you. So I was explaining the marketplace. Then I explained what this meaning sign. And if you all agree, I can take one of the workspace, or I can create from scratch. It's just like where you are in the journey, and I want to be on the same page with everyone. So I thought maybe I can take one of these and then show you some steps. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this one, like how to get into digital marketing. This was Thomas's volume is very low on my side. Okay, from your side. Okay, I understand. Hopefully you can listen to me. So let me first go into the research part. So when you start research, I mean, this kind of an initial challenge where you need to think upfront who you want to target, and upfront is like really narrowing down the choices, right? When you have a business, you always have one buddy, right? One person, one friend whom you can just give a call, and when you can just ask this person, or you have hypothetical imagination of one person. So in this case, we are targeting students and young professionals. I mean, it's not a 2%, but this is a student and young professional who is aspiring to be in the field of digital marketing. And this person is obviously looking for new career in digital marketing. So this is still kind of a hypothetical image. This is really important because we are combining here, as you said, Norbert, two statements together. If you see it carefully, here is the business idea. So digital marketing or a new career in digital marketing, this is our business idea. And the target group is a student and young professional. So in the niche, we're combining these two together. And that's quite a big difference with the rest of the tool, because rest of the tool, you just start with a keyword or a topic, and then you don't know which target audience you are creating this content. And that's the key differentiation, because from the very beginning, you're telling AI that I'm creating content for this specific group of audience. This is what I wanted to achieve with them, and you narrow it down, you niche down. So niche down is not like you start with general insurance, and from insurance you go to car insurance, from car insurance you go to sports car insurance. No, I think here is more specific. We are still talking about a student and young professional. We're still talking about digital marketing, but we are telling AI in a more specific way where we want to focus. So students and young professional who desire to open new doors for their career with digital marketing strategies, brand management, and growth hacks. So pretty much I have specified here or made very specific definition of what I want to achieve in my business regarding digital marketing. I'm not targeting the whole digital marketing industry. Digital marketing is too big, too broad. It might cover from video to television to radio to FM, whatnot, right? Or newspaper. But I'm very, very specific. And I'm really talking about marketing strategies, brand management, and growth hacks. So this way you narrow it down. The process is similar. You also come up with a story, ideal person. It's very simple, like who they are, what they are. And this is pretty much the input that you gave initially. Obviously, we recently changed in the way that the questions are asked, but pretty much these are the initial questions. Rest of them are like your company name, or in this section, what topic you are interested in, or one more question might be there here, like what is there something everyone believe, but the truth is opposite of that. So it's like a kind of shocking statement, surprising statement to them. So once you give this answer, the rest process is very automated, because then it generate answers to all these questions, remaining questions. It covers different types of topic based on the initial understanding. Psychographics, the way I go about it, like I give it initial input, I come directly to this place, I go one by one and just look very quickly if the answers are in alignment with what I'm looking. If not, then I change my answers. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see the hand. Hi, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Just what you were saying. So first you create the workspace. This gets filled out after you answer the initial questions. Then you go through each tab on the left and
Right.
check in the middle.
Right.
And then if you adjust something, then you click save, and then you hop to the right and generate insights. And then if you take the time, you can also go through the insights and make that fit as well, and delete stuff which is completely off.
Right. That's what I would do, and that's what I have done in all the workspaces that we have created. I followed a very standard process. First, provided some initial input, came here, curated this, corrected them, saved them. So I also, maybe one thing that you wanted to do is first you wanted to go through each of these steps, correct all the information, which might take you another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because already information is pre-filled. You save it. Then I go first, I will generate insights. If I have time, I will read them. Think of this, when you do a research, you always start with an executive summary. You have some references, and then you have a lot of additional material to show to professor that you have referred to these pages. Similarly, we are creating this extra knowledge based on our initial ideas and expanding on those initial ideas. And this extra knowledge is for Athena to train in the database. So when we create content, this content will be sort of referred to these points as well. Now,
so the one on the right is for Athena, the one in the middle is for Athena. Insights as well as the middle is both for Athena.
Yes,
and
both of them.
Both of these, when I start changing them, they both eat the points or the credits or whatever the.
Not only when you generate them, but when you change them or save them, it doesn't. And you can generate more of them also. So you can generate to second time, third time, it's just expanding another each other.
And when you were talking about the workspaces, and later also us being able to put some in there or purchase from someone else, is there a way where we can kind of, I don't know if verify is the right word, but verify that we actually want that workspace, and that not we're like checking out all the workspaces, no, it's not this one, it's not this one, it's not this one, so that maybe the headline is not enough to fully understand what Athena has been trained on in these single workspaces. And the second question to this view I would have is, when I have now team members who are clicking away finding it so awesome to click away. So they're using up quite a few credits until they really understand this thing. Is there a way to see who uses how many of the credits?
Okay. Let me answer the first question and then I go back and then I go to Norbert. The first question is, how can we see which workspace is good? So first way you wanted to try, just search here, like there is a search button, or here in the marketplace is a search button. But what is hidden here is this preview button. So when you click the preview tab, it has all the information, like who is the target audience, in this case young adult working woman having ADHD symptom. So this is our ADHD pain points, this is our workspace. Then it's more information is there, like what is the main topic of interest, ideal prospect overview. Michelle is 32-year-old young mother of 2 kids. She's having problems managing her work-life balance. You see, single big result, single big question. So exploring this, you have sufficient information whether this workspace is something that you can use. It also has 8 blogs already written on 3 copywriting scripts. So in the next iteration, we can also create little preview of those blogs or done for you content. So you can explore like first paragraph or introduction of that blog or content. Also,
each blog which has been written is also fed into Athena. So when I see that the more blogs are written, the more knowledgeable Athena is. Is that correct?
I will talk about that later. I'll answer that question later. The second question about you was how to deal with the team. So of course you can add the team member, but currently the credits are overall. So it is very difficult to track. If suppose you include me as a Harish, I'm in your team, then you don't know how much credit Harish is using, how much credit is Norbert is using. So that at this point it's not available. But I'll talk with the development team how we can have this granular overview, more detailed overview, like who is using how many credits. Does that answer your both questions?
Or I was going to even say, even limiting or assigning a certain number to the teammate so that they won't go over a certain number. That also might be an option as well. So if you only want them to generate 20, then you can assign them 20. That's just hypothetical, but it's an option.
Right. Yeah, definitely we can think about allocating credits among team members. Sure. Norbert, you're on mute.
So thank you. I'm a bit puzzled about everything. So Athena is the AI, the writing AI, and everything. The whole job is to feed it, so to train it, to focus it and on what to write. Correct?
Yes.
So we fill out these forms, and then these insights are generated. I don't get this insight point. Is it sort of a summary of what of all the inputs that we have, and how does this feed extra? If we edit that extra into Athena, I don't understand what is insights for.
Sure. So I'll walk you through. So let's say I open again the workspace. Insights are basically the expansion of the initial input that you have provided. What I mean by expansion is it take those the seed input that you have provided.
Yeah.
You have only answered 8 questions. I can when I start you can check it when you start create workspace. There are only 8-9 questions that you answered. Based on those 8-9 questions, you have answered almost like 155 questions, and that is spread over different sections, different tabs. So for example, here when I was showing you this market research part, when you create your workspace, you basically answer some 8-9 question, basic question. I'm counting the basic question. I'm not counting your name, your company name. These are even not the question. This some 8-9 basic questions you answer. And based on this, it automatically fill all this level 1 research. So each of these, when you see this is going quite detailed, like the long tail topics, headlines, pre-headline. This one is pretty long. It has almost like 35, 40 questions. Single big result, single big roadblock, pain point, um, secret, mistake, single big secret. Breaking into digital marketing is possible even if you don't hold a university degree. Digital marketing just a hype, mistake, for example, feature. You see this, everything that is written here in between is further expanded on by insights. So when I generate insights, I can generate many times. So they are not they are stacked upon each other. Every time I generate insights, it's take into this initial input, it expand on it. So AI is expanding on its own itself. You answered initially add questions, you used AI to structure the information, and now by pressing the insights button, you are expanding on itself. So you're creating knowledge from knowledge, if that answers your question. And that is very specific to the process. Single big shocking statement. You see a single big shocking statement was here. Did you know that breaking into digital marketing is possible even if you do not hold a university degree? And then it goes on to this topic and expand on this topic. Now, I wouldn't want to read it, but it's very specific to this information.
And this is critical information that we have to check whether this is really on point of what we want to have. Correct. Right. And if not, then we add it here in the insight area directly. Correct.
Right. And that will make you that will make you a good writer or bad writer, because if you're just closing your eyes to this, if you really want to make sure that every information you're feeding into Athena is factually correct, or you wanted to make some changes here, please do that, because you're creating your custom knowledge, custom engine that you're going to use in again and again. For example, you're talking about in the beginning that you wanted to really talk about very specific topic of agile methodologies. There you cannot afford to go wrong when you're talking to professionals. Like what is a Scrum, what is agile. You need to follow a specific terminology there. If I'm talking about dog training, I can go a bit slightly in different direction if I'm not really going very narrow and specific breed, right? So this make a difference here, and I would definitely advise when you wanted to really be 100% sure that what you're going to write is going to be picked up correctly. You wanted to ensure that you fact check them.
And last question to that, maybe you're coming later on that. I didn't get this. At one point, I sort of could input a website address. So it's not my website address because I'm still about to building it up, to be honest. I'm more writing for an internal company at the moment, but I won't use that company address because that's not my topic. Yeah, that's what they produce and that how they produce. So I decided to go for a methodology-based website. I don't get this process. What would be the best solution to use a website address here for Athena? Search internet, add URL, sort of this. So this is something which quite a mysterium for me at the moment.
Right. So to answer your question, when you give your website address, for example, here you said your website name or your company name. Also, initially, when you create your workspace, you put in website address. This is just for referencing. You can also refer to a competitor website, to a professional website. This is just to reference that you're working for a specific domain or a specific goal in mind. If you just put it here example.com, it will also work, because at this stage of this process, we are not crawling the website. We are not looking at the website at this stage, what I'm showing you right now. You can inject the information from website by pulling some URLs, not like the full website, but you can add up to 5 different URLs here. Suppose if you find a very professional agile scrum body, which is writing professional document on it, you can refer to that website, 5 different blogs or content. You can inject scientific facts. the way these URLs are injected is also not allowing them to become more creative, but extract factual information from there. So that means that any URL you are injecting, you are inserting more factual information. When I click this box, search intent, and now I'm jumping the ahead, but I said when you train Athena, so this portion is by default always there. This portion by default is like your market research and the insights, they're already there. Then I have a search intent that is going to Google search pages, not going to each competitor's website, but going to Google search pages and fetch the different information that you generally see on the search page on the Google. So here, the main topic was how to break into digital marketing in 2022. This was main topic. And based on this, whatever article on the Google page it can find, it will pull those 10 results, but also 14 different modifiers. So almost 140 results. And when I say modifier, it will modify this search query in, for example, dreams, how to break into digital marketing, mistakes, how to break into digital marketing in 2022, desires, suspicion, all kind of those psychographic elements, and it will pull the information from there, right? So we are making use of our own idea of market, our target market, those insights, which is expansion of the knowledge by AI itself, then whatever information that exists on Google's pages, and then you are also injecting a specific set of information. So you see, you're creating a custom factual subject or domain matter expert with you. With Athena, you're creating a database of specific knowledge. You can always search back once you train it, and it will also show you whether it's coming from market research, it's coming from market insights. Sales copywriting is also part where I now can answer Alexandra's question. When we create content, does it feed into it? Yes, when you create this sales copywriting or those type of content, they are automatically by default feed into it. That now we also have created this URL, right, where you can create a blog URL, and you can also take again that URL into training. And I'm still working on it, like this in the final shape. So then you will have more control which article you wanted to feed into Athena. Initially, we had the idea that whatever you create should go, but that's not good idea, because what if you're going in wrong direction? So we want to have a choice. Like if I have created really one good article, which has covered all the facts, I want to make it a baseline. And then I also have the choice while I'm inside the editor to give more weights. So for example, if I just wanted to select one of them based on URL, then all the content that I will create will be referencing to that content that I put via URL. If I select all of them, then obviously they are referring to everything, search intent, market, and trying to pull the best information, because this data or the AI, which I'm saying Athena, is like a smart search engine. It's like as a layer between the language models like GPT-3 and users interface. So it's a kind of interface between this, and it is smartly create prompt. As I mean, in many other tools, you have to create your framework prompt yourself, but in this tool, everything is like smartly in the backend created by Athena, because it understands the meaning. Like when I say single big desire, it understands this meaning, and based on this meaning, it give me the information which is there inside the Athena about this information.
So what exactly does it do now here? Yes, you have input this one, and what's happening now? What's change happening?
Like for example, when I power up this up or I train this, then I can always search back. So think about that, you have created a search engine, a Google search inside the tool. You can always search it back. So single big desire to create a $1 million business, that was coming from market research. Is all information was pulled from market research. I could also create a filter. No, I don't want from market research, but I want from search intent. So this is how I wanted to show the power of the database, because this understand the meaning, and you can write your own language, you can talk in your own language, and it will pull the relevant information as an sort of seed idea to AI to create the content. And that's why it's always sort of referencing and aligned to your research. That's the role of the research in this. Alex, you have a question as well?
Yeah, the filter with the different URL market research and all that. So I imagine I'm in the editor now, and there's also this filter of market research,
Yeah.
and the others. I'm not quite clear yet when I want to click it, and do I click it? Like, when do I click it? At the end, when I want to save it, when I create it, and what does it do when I'm in the editor writing a blog?
Right. I'll answer that question. So are we good? Like 2 steps. First is creating level 1 market research, training the Athena. Then obviously we can unlock the level 2. I don't want to talk right now on level 2 because that will have the same process. Like it will, again, you go and fill some more information, and to the extent that you understand, okay, now I have extra set of information, I can come back here, train Athena, and use that information. Right? Shadow, you have a question?
Oh, yeah, I do. I couldn't find my button here. So I think I'm just a little confused too. So even when you clicked on the filter and you had all that listing of that information, right?
Right.
So when you click on it, right, when it generated, the filter for single big desire, and then you got your list, are you clicking on one of those, and then it opens up and gives you the information that you can leverage for, say, writing content or writing a blog or whatever it is that you're using? Is that how we're supposed to use it? Is that what I'm supposed to do with it?
We are really supposed to, like, it will be used definitely inside the editor, and I will explain it how it is used inside the editor.
Okay.
But
Got it.
I was just showing the power here, like you can even already search, and this is all created, right?
No, yeah, because I didn't know that. So that was
Right.
that was very helpful. That was very helpful. But I also wanted to just ask too, on this like this interface here, I'm not exactly sure what I execute, what will actually use credits. So am I using, like, it would be nice if I had a hover over, certain things, and it's letting me know, okay, if I do this, it's going to cost me credit. So at least I can make sure that I'm, just not going willy-nilly, but, kind of thinking through, what I'm trying to do, so I would know.
Right. You can refer to this page, which gives you a rough idea of,
okay.
Where credits are used, what credits are used. Generally, each credits are almost equal to like 600 credit. Then it's almost 3 times the words that you are going to generate. Exception is this kind of Athena, because actually when you train Athena, you're also inside backend, it's creating a lot of words, like it's generating prompts, it's sending to APIs and all sort of things. So it's here it's a higher, and when you create one full script in sales copyright, it's also higher because it won't go. Rest of them are small headlines, write me Athena, ask me Athena. You just, every time you press a button, it's 30 credit. If you have if you're in 3rd or 4th code, you have a lot of credit of them, and they're also getting reset monthly. I can imagine that if you have more team members, then you want to make sure that it is sort of allocated and used appropriately in more way where you can manage it properly, right? So
Yeah.
you can refer the information on the credit here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shall we take an example of a content? So for let's say here, I want to explain a little bit on this. We have recently introduced these as well. So earlier by default, that was general blog outline. When I create something like this, I get a very a specific outline, and I'm calling it outline, but it's almost like 600 words of pre-set drafts of the blog that you want to create, and then you can add a lot of things on top of it. So think of this: you bake the cake, you bring it out from the oven, and then you wanted to make some decorations. You wanted to put chocolate on it. You wanted to put some fruits on it, and then whatever you wanted to decorate with it. And there are definitely many tools out there. But also there are some scripts that you can use here. Like it's very popular with the HubSpot. Like in a specific way, they have suggested how to blog post. So how to break into digital marketing, or the list blog post. Like for example, here all of them are list blog posts, top 3 skills or top 10 skills. So you can also do the same here as well, but they are more structured around the information or a template which is suggested by HubSpot for this blog, because they follow a certain specific standard as prescribed by HubSpot. So the pillar blog post, I mean, SEO people who are in digital marketing, they're familiar with this concept. You create a pillar like main authority blog, and you go on high level in that authority blog about that subject, and then you create smaller blogs, and you connect with the main pillar post. So that way Google understand that you are authority on this topic. So for example, I can create a blog on how to break into digital marketing. That's my main blog. And then I can say there are 10 different ways where you can easily get a career into digital marketing. And now I am going to create 10 different blogs explaining separately what are those 10 different ways. So for example, learning SEO skills can be one way. Second, mastering the video editing, for example, or third, learning a CRM. So these are different ways to get into a career in digital marketing. And on each of these ways, I can create a lengthy blog and then connect all of this with the main blog. This is a strategy with many SEO follow to show to Google that we are authority in a specific field. And when Google crawl these pages together, they see them, they are connected. Then of course, Google index those pages and gives you like a bonus there that your authority on this field. So you can follow this concept of pillar and then follow other things to connect them together. Does that make sense?
Like you make a list blog post and you basically list your own blogs.
Yeah, list blog post means you follow a list idea, like you are saying top 3 or top 5, or just, it's a list article. You have seen many online articles which list tools, techniques, 3 ways to do this, 5 ways to do this. It's more like the list format. Pillar post is going more deeper into the subject. So that's how it works. But all of them has similar type of input, and you can just make sure those input you can change and leverage on that.
And when you do the pillar blog post, then you go in there again with write me Athena, create headlines, and then create the sub headline text, and then it gets a little bit meatier, and then you create it.
Yeah, you add some more meat on it and reshuffle something, but it's almost like a big structure you already got there. Maybe I'll try to create one and we can see how it works. So again, main topic of interest, how to start a career in digital marketing. Initial content idea, I can also refer like how to say this or how to put in a short sentence. But here I would say 3 ways to head start your.
And you mentioned one of them is the internet and one of them is Athena.
Say again.
Was it that you mentioned once the top one crawls the web and the internet initial content idea crawls?
Yes, they have a specific idea here, because here based on this you are getting all the content which is on this topic, specifically from the search result pages. So all the competitor content this time, because see, we already have trend Athena on maybe related topic, right? Now here we are calling not only the search pages, but also competitor content. So top 10 ranking content, and I'll show you this in a separate page. Because here we are trying to combine more in depth the competitors strategy or content, what they are writing. So this query is really pulling the data, and this query is really pulling all the information from Athena. And anyway, they're quite intertwined, interconnected. So even if I have some variation here, still it will refer to the Athena, because it's not only this from this point, but there are many other like sort of connections between the research and the article. What problem this helps them to quickly start their career. And I'm here like with you can be more specific here. So you can be more accurate, specific, or predefine it, but shouldn't take a long time, just like 3 inputs. At this point,
the country there, I'm in Germany and I write in English, and then I'm always torn which country I should pick.
Right, this is a great question, which country you should pick. So think about your audience. Are they English speaking people who live in Germany?
Okay, that would be, so where are they living basically, and
Yeah.
where would they search? I mean, I
Right.
guess if you live in Europe, you would get all the European information, and then if you put in brackets USA or something, then you would get the results from overseas, I guess.
Right. It depends also on the topic, because if I take the topic from Norbert, I want to really write on the agile scrum practice. It doesn't really matter. It is country agnostic, because agile scrum is a worldwide framework adopted by software developers. So it depends on the topic. But if you are really targeting local audience, you don't want to reach out to US English speaking people, then I would suggest that you put the country choice as Germany. Why? Because many of the articles content will be pulled from the German websites, though still they are writing English content. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like in Netherlands, where I live right now, there are many English websites, and if I select Netherlands, it's not going to pull the in the Dutch language, but it's going to pull the content from those English websites. But then if I have a business in Netherlands and I'm writing very specific on a business topic, then it will help me to create a better website which is resonating towards the country and the audience that I have. Now, in this template, we already have like a pretty introduction of how to start in digital marketing. And then there are some formatting things that you can do easily, because it was like messed up here, like all the formatting, or maybe it was not showing in the way you would like to see it. But you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 steps are already there. And I will show in a moment, there are definitely many tools here where you can start playing around already. But when I do the pillar post, I get already a content which is it's already 2,776 words on an average, and your other people are writing on this topic only 1,512 words. So I think it's a pretty long content. I'm already having here almost like it's really going into detail. You can see here, provide 8 suggestions if you are new to the main topic of interest. So literally we are talking to Athena, provide 8 suggestions if you are new to the digital marketing, right? And make a list of topics you would like to learn more about within this field, join online communities and forums. It's all talking about digital marketing. Read books, take classes or tutorials, describe the main topic of interest in 3 lines. So what I would do, definitely I will rewrite them. I will make the headline which is in context with the paragraph here, and then I will keep expanding on them. And there are different tools to expand on them. For example, what we are saying here, top 3 business reserve. top 3 business desire is to be top player in the industry. That's what my target audience want. That my audience was here. You can go back and I'll show you how. But the 2 quick things that I can do with this kind of list is I select this and I say I can choose 2 options: write me Athena or ask me Athena. Write me Athena is when I just want to create another paragraph, taking this as input. Ask me Athena is when I have a specific question and I want to expand on it. So how, what, why, 3 list, 4 list. Shadow, do you have question? And Alex, your hand was also raised. Yes. Shadow.
No, that was from last time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, mine too. But if
Sure.
you could, after you went through this, could go back to the mode, which is like the filter.
Oh, yes,
was
that
the
was,
original
yeah,
question.
that was your question. So now I can make a choice here while writing the content. Should I give more weight to market research or should I select insights? Because I didn't retrain it, or I think I haven't trained it. So these are not choices currently. But if I have trained on everything like fresh Athena, also put like URL, then there will be different choices here. Currently, I have 2 choices. So suppose my goal is more SEO focused, then I will just use the search intent. And because I have already some information about my audience, I want to further optimize this article for SEO. Then I will use this search intent, because then everything I write here, it will be referring from the Google data. Make sense? If suppose I have a very factual article and it's my domain article, it's a confidential maybe information I has put through URL or if fact data, then I will choose this URL and nothing else. Or if I select all of them, then the program will automatically figure out what is the best information you need to put in here.
What would be the best way to practically understand it? Like, should I go into different workplaces, or like I don't get the difference? Like, what would it look different if I just check 2? What would it look different if I only check search intent? What would be my actual process be to get a better understanding, to see that I'm writing the same pillow blog post, I have the same you know, the first page, I put the same stuff in, but how it changes when I click. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I got you. And let me try to answer this. So before making choice, think about what is the goal of this article. Are we going to publish only on the Google to rank it? Then I would do the search intent. And maybe I'll combine these 2 because I also want the article to be very specific to the audience. But if I am talking very general information and not necessarily I want too much focus on a specific audience, then I can remove this option and then I just focus on the search intent. Think about that you are posting on your Facebook group, that you're posting on Instagram, that you're posting on social media, where you wanted to be really specific to that audience and you wanted to really talk to them and not in like general sense in SEO blog, then just don't switch on this, because your goal is not to rank the content. Your goal is to have more voice of your audience. So depending on the goal that you set for this content, you can choose this mode. Does that sort of help? Or
Yeah, it makes sense. In my case, being a coach and just like I have no clue about SEO, I didn't try it yet. So that makes sense to me, because in my mind, I would always want to be talking specifically to my crowd and not some generalized. But now where you mention it, I see that for SEO reasons, of course, it would be beneficial to, you know, rank for the keywords, and then it might not be super specific to the target group.
right.
Okay, got it.
When we launched this tool, we were challenged heavily by SEO. Like, can we prove that this content can rank on search engine as well? And that's why we put this option as well. Because if you're SEO, your goal is only to rank content on that. So you can choose now and make a mix. Yeah, go ahead with the question.
and sales copywriting and URL. So, so because I'm also having difficulties to decide if I need a new workspace or not when I'm writing about different topics, but basically targeting the same person. When I understood it correctly, then I would, if it's the same friend I'm wanting to talk to about a different topic, I keep the workspace. And if I say, hey, I learned something new about time management, and I want to tell my friend that in a specific way, as I've seen on 3 web pages, which I thought were amazing. I train Athena on these 5 web pages on time management, and then I would click URL and market research and fill in the, I want to talk about time management or whichever topic, or market entry and digital design or digital marketing. Is that right?
Yeah, I understand. Let me try to answer. So when you're talking time management and you're talking to the same audience and you're talking the time management is still in the context of your business, of your coaching, then I would not create a different workspace, because time management is one of the specific topic that you wanted to address while you're coaching, right? But suppose it's still on the time management. If you have changed your audience, they are not anymore coaches. They may be people who work for the car wash industry. They also need a time management, right?
Yeah.
They speak different language.
Right.
They understand if their pain points are different for time management. They are not struggling with having an agenda or booking with the clients.
Yeah.
They are struggling to manage their garage and how to organize the things, right? So when you change the audience, also once you change the audience, problem solution also change. It is
Right.
no more the same problem solution. So you can use in different workspace. So that's where the key difference when most of the tool are based on topics, right? And this tool is based on audience, problem, solution, fit.
Yeah.
Norbert?
Yeah, a very brief question. If we look into the URLs, how deep does it search there? I mean, is it the top page only? Is it going deeper? Is it following links there? What's the general idea here? What do I do this with clicking on a web page and telling Athena, look into that?
Yeah. So what happens when you put a URL, if this is long page, then it divides the whole sort of page into, let's say, 250 words paragraph. So let's say the page is 1000 words, this URL page. So it's 250 word, 250 word, 250 word. From each 250 word, it try to create 25 question answer. So it read the content, it create a question, and then it's answer. But this answer is not copied from the content itself. This answer is created by AI. So only question and then answer. When you create answer, this is still look into the factual information, because that's the difference. We want to still carry the factual information. So if let's say you are talking about 12,000 words of URL, then still it will divide into 250 sets, and there is a limit on the maximum question that can be achieved. And I think this limit is around 75 question answer pair. So if 250 words, you can have like 10 question, another 250 word, you have 10 question. And at some point of time, you have to limit it, because you also cannot inject too much of the information.
My practical problem is actually, if I have a large website, where there are some resources or some factual information, there's a section of that, there are blogs, there is a discussion forum, for example. Now, does it suffice to tell Athena, look into the top page and the main page and then go from there? Or do I have specifically tell Athena, look into that blog, look into this information site, look into this discussion forum? So which page do I tell that?
Right.
Which would be meaningful?
It's a great question again. And I will take your example again. because I am also familiar with the Agile and Scrum,
Okay.
product owner. So when we talk about Agile Scrum, right, it's a very broad topic. But
Yeah.
when your goal of the content is to really talk about retrospective and role of the Scrum Master in the retrospective, and how the retrospective and Agile team should be conducted, then you don't want to include too much information, because the more resources you plug in as a URL, the content that you are going to create become more generic, or is referring to too much, right?
Mhm.
So it again depend on your goal. If your goal is to write on the Agile Scrum methodology, put as many as resources in there. If your goal is very specific, then just put limited resources. Now you will tell me, should I retrain Athena every time? Yes, you can retrain every time. So you have, like, your goal has changed, content goal has changed. Now initially you wanted to write only on the, like, full Agile Scrum, so you included many URL there. But next time you can go and only include one URL, and when you retrain it, it has sort of the memory is wiped off, like it's like recreated from scratch. The training or data is recreated from scratch. So that way, every time you have a new goal, you can retrain Athena.
That, by the way, just a tip that I misinterpreted. I thought if I train Athena again, the memory is stored for this workspace and I build upon this knowledge, but it's not like that. I'm
No.
completely changing the background. Okay.
You can retrain it
Yeah.
based on where you are at the moment.
Okay.
So it's always take the snapshot of where you are, and it's not incrementally building. We thought about it, but we will run into same problem, because then you have too much knowledge and then it
Makes
is
sense.
writing everywhere, right? So you want to be spot on with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Alexandra?
Then it makes sense that, for example, once I talk about meditation and the next day I talk about time management, that would be when I maybe copy the workspace, because I have, let's say, 3 pillars I usually write about. Let it be time management, I don't know, eating and meditation.
Right.
And then it would make sense, even though it's the same friend I'm talking to, with same fears and everything, but then I separate them so that I don't have to remember, what do I need to train Athena on? Last time it was great, and now what? Is that right? Then in that case, it would make sense to copy the workspace, not because of a different friend, but because the topic is a bit different. I mean, time management is different from nutrition coaching, right? Although there is overlap, but it's different.
Yes. Audience is same. The granular topic is changing. You just copy the workspace.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And one is workspace is coaches time management, coaches meditation, coaches nutrition.
Okay, got it.
And,
yeah. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
In the language of Norbert, what he's doing is might be the Agile Scrum, role of product owner, Agile Scrum, the Scrum Master, team, and then you can divide different topics, feed specific URL. Still, you have done one base research and you copied it and created multiple workspaces. And that's the reason I mentioned to many people that when you buy like 4 code, then you get access to more workspaces. And maybe this is not communicated well, but this is the thing, like you can create as many custom small engines with each workspace within the same domain, within the same field.
So if I have, let's say I want to write a blog post, whatever, about time management and or Scrum, and I found like 4 amazing URLs, I better save them somewhere in case I have, I don't know, different perspective and I want to write in that way. Then I save my URLs there so I can retrain Athena in the Scrum, but with a slightly different angle. I don't know if I'm going too much in the weeds here, but you know,
I understand. We have on the dashboard, you can see trained URL, so it know which URL it was trained. And later on, we don't want to give this misunderstanding that even though it shows all previous URL you have trained, but it is actually applying only the current URL which you have fed into it. And that's where we will make some changes, like in the list, we'll show that history, and this is the current URL. This is all historical URL. We can copy it back. Now, showing that I was here and I was saying you can just use write me Athena to expand on it and ask me Athena when you have a specific question like this. Provide 3 personal dream or desire. What is single big problem? This is a question. So this is ask me Athena, and this is expansion. So this is just write me Athena. So it's a kind of a security feature that if you are not working with the app, then it kicks you out. I can take one of the latest workspace, for example. It's blogging with AI as a service. It's like a specific niche where people want to use blogging as a service with AI. Blogging as a service is niche. Now you can see here, I use this URL to train it. There was a really good article I found online and fantastic benefits of using AI writer tools. So I injected this, and whenever I will search about something, it will also has this information. So I have trained it already on this topic, AI writer GPT-3, AI writer GPT-3, and then I have added this URL. So in that sense, this is a pretty kind of well-trained workspace. Now I change the URL, it will still show me earlier one, the second one, but all the time it will use the latest URL that I'm training, and I can add up to 5 URL here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Always the lowest one, and I saw that you can enter up to 5, so it could be, and you will see it which ones are active in the trained URLs.
Right, this what we want to add here. Right now it's only showing which URL, but which one is active, we can show it also as well.
And does it make sense to train Athena just to click the search intent over and over again, or you just do it once and then it's done?
If you're changing your main topic of interest, because you see here, it always refers to a main topic of interest. So if you have gone here and if you change the topic of interest, and that's where you want to basically do it, right? If you want to shift from meditation to time management, you will copy the workspace, you will go here and here, and you will change this topic. So you will change from meditation to time management. This is only the place you will change. Maybe you wanted to make some changes here, doesn't matter, but this is the main topic. Based on this, you're training Athena. So whenever you change copy the workspace for Norbert, when you want to go from retrospective to sprint planning, then you can have a retrospective as a topic, main topic of interest. You train Athena on only retrospective, pull all the information, agile, Scrum, retrospective. But when you want to go to sprint planning as a different topic, then you can just clone the workspace, change the main topic of interest, and then retrain the Athena, and also add a specific URL which is only related to the sprint closing ceremony, for example. And when I create content, I explained the different types of formats here. For example, if I wanted to take already pre-created content, then you see it like this. So it has already, I mean, it's pretty dense content, which was also using the same template or format, and I can expand on it. There are different tools. Almost we are 20 minutes over, because it's always when I talk, there are so many tools here and we can keep explaining. So this is new feature where you can copy this link, right? And you can share it with someone who is not a CrawlQ user. So this use case is limited until here right now. So see, for this link, you just can share it to someone. This person need not to be a CrawlQ user. You can ask some feedback or something on it. So this is nice one. But what we are doing, you can also take this and again train on the Athena. So that will answer your initial question. Can I I'm like injecting the information back. Yes, you can, if you're pretty confident that this is the blog that you want to baseline and further increase the knowledge. Now, what other use cases of this can be, as I said, train Athena. Other use cases that we should allow user to directly publish from their WordPress website or any other CMS that they are using. This is all in the development. So all these use cases, getting feedback and then developing it, either using some API where what you then need to do is just still in this case also, if I change something here, it is immediately reflecting there. So when I refresh this, you don't need to share it again. The person that you shared, you just refresh and then you will get the latest content all the time. You have a question?
Yeah. So because you said you can retrain it using that URL, but what about the save button up there? I thought when I save it, then it goes into Athena, or does it only, you mentioned that at the beginning as well, so ones you want to put into Athena, some you don't want to put in Athena. So what does the save button?
Save is regardless. So there has to be, even if you don't press it in the automatic, in the background, it is automatically saving it. And when you saved it, you just make sure that you save this article. It just save means it's saved in the database. But imagine in the beginning, I have, let's say, 4 or 5 different articles. Let me go back. Now I have to go back. Here there are 2 articles, right? Now I only want this article to go in Athena, and I don't want this one to go into Athena. Then I will choose this one and copy the URL, go back to train Athena, and I will train the Athena. I won't use the second one. So I can make a choice which one I want to baseline for further enhancement of the knowledge. Again, as I said, every time you retrain, it's creating the file, the from scratch training. So you can change your mood if you think, okay, no, I want something else.
Yeah, but then I could, like in my case, make like super monster pillar posts for each 3 things and retrain it, and then basically it will, you know, pick up on most of the stuff, I guess.
Hypothetically, how I imagine this scenario is you start with the audience, you go into their pain point, you build your research, you did a lot of hard work, and now you come here also, you're still like putting a lot of effort here, right? So then you want all this effort to go back in the beginning stage and feed itself, right? So you wanted to feed the process and you wanted to create the process so that it can become more and more better, because you might have rewritten some part here. You might have added some brand voice. You might have added some your domain specific terms. So you want to take it back. And every time you spend here on editor become also useful for retraining Athena, because that all information again goes back there. Now, in terms of new features, I think this is self-explanatory, where you can select it, use write me Athena, ask me Athena. But also these are useful because many a time, even myself, I get a challenge how to explain the tool, and we were developing for us, but we also then thought, okay, it's good to make it for everyone. So it's a kind of a one-liner pitch. I think here the target audience that we had is a smart bootstrap founder who are looking for blogging with AI as a service. So it's the target audience is the founders who are looking, who don't have funding money much. They're just using their own services, and they want to use blogging with AI as a service. So this was the audience. And when I generate pitch, so this founder can go to audience outside, or say a revolutionary new customer service software that lets you build your own AI powered chatbot for your site, so you can spend more time running your business. Social media ad, you can convert it into a LinkedIn post. No, sorry, the Twitter, like a small Twitter post. You can generate more of these. But it's very specific. It's very trained sort of idea to create a pitch and social media post. Looking to automate your website task, look no further than Pivot. Pivot is a tool. With Pivot, you can build your own bot for blah, blah, blah this. So you see, it's like an idea to short or summarize and create an elevator pitch. A lot of people struggle creating elevator pitch because as with the investors or with your own business or landing page. Here you can create a summary, TLDR, like very short summary. You can put it in the top there. So this article, when I press the TLDR button, it take the entire text into account. So it feed this whole text into account and then just create an summary, TLDR. An AI content writer is a computer program that can automatically generate high quality content based on set of keywords or topics. AI content writers are used to create blogs, articles, and social media posts for businesses that are tight on the budget and need content created quickly and efficiently. Now, I was focusing on the founder. He's wants some service, so it's speaking to that audience. If I would have changed the audience, this TLDR summary and everything that we are creating here might have been different. Captions can help you to create marketing hooks, each even similar paragraphs. You can pick one of these and again, create content around it. This content coach is more like create a structure, more structure. So you can again copy this and use Write Me Athena or Ask Me Athena. I'll just copy this here, this content. If you feel a bit distracted with this mode, you can also switch to another mode, which is kind of useful. It's a full screen. Then you are not distracted on that side, and you can keep continue building more information, adding more information. Right? It's you have seen this structure. It has written automatically like main, conclusions and everything. So what I added there, you can just keep continue editing from here as well. It is more like a distraction free mode. You can go back to that mode, same mode there. I think I added something in between which I need to find. But you see here how you can use this different tools. You can create headline and intros, each paragraph or more introduction you can inject there. So there are different tools. Basically, you don't need to necessarily use all these tools, to be honest. It's not necessary that you press the button and spend your credit. It's just more and more tools with different purposes. I can take a small summary from another blog, put summary here, and then take that summary and expand it. That's also a good way. Some people really like that because they can take a summary from another competitor, put it here, create that summary, and use Ask Me Athena or Write Me Athena for that. Norbert, you have a question?
A very small one and a medium one. The very small is, who is Fred? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
And the second, the longer one would be, yeah, I'm looking into the future. If I create for specific purposes, even for the same target group, a different workspace, put a lot of work into that, train it, and then at some point I will run out of workspaces. Now, do I have, and this will happen obviously over time. Now I have to decide, throw it all away, a lot of work that I did, or can I archive that so I can sort of resurrect it later on? So first one, who is Fred, and then what's the long-term perspective with working with workspaces?
Sure, let me try to answer both. Who is Fred? So Fred is an acronym for a person who is a living person. This person that you know, someone in your industry, is maybe a scrum master that you know from your work, and this person has fears. F for fear. Okay. This person want results, right? He has FE, so he has expectations, he want results, and he has desires. So just FEAR. Oh, sorry, FRED, Fred. So Fred has fears, Fred want results, Fred has expectations, Fred has desire. So it's acronym for a Fred, referring to an ideal buyer persona who you can define in terms of the person's fears, results that person want, expectation this person has, desire this So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
I borrowed this term from a popular copywriting book from Jim Edwards. I think I have it. And he called this process of researching an audience as identifying Fred. So here in CrawlQ, I'm also saying identify a Fred whom you can take on a coffee date. And I really mean by that you know this person and you can talk about his fears, results, expectation, desire, and then you can just come back and write down them in CrawlQ question answer, and then you're ready to hit and to create content for that.
Yep.
Second question about how to use Workspace smartly on a long term. I would say if you have a 10 workspace as a limit, try to create smartly the 10 different workspaces on different topics, right? And once you don't need it, maybe you wanted to delete it. But currently, I mean, there is no way where you can just archive it and reactivate it, unfortunately. If there are more such use cases where you just wanted to archive it, because each plan has some limits on the workspace. So if you're having a 10 workspace and if you're not using one of them very effectively, you would just delete it and later on recreate it. Maybe that's a workaround right now.
Okay, I understand. In the end, to be honest, you have to make money from somewhere, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's possible to use it smartly. Yeah, that would be great if we have sort of a bit more flexibility to use this to tweak workspaces for different purposes. Maybe I don't know yet.
Sure.
But I'm not at the point of running out.
Right. Yeah, it should be possible to just add more workspaces later, or just adding some extra credits you can always buy. So if you're running out of credit, just $19 you get 5,000 more. This also monthly resetting for lifetime deal. So I don't think credit might be a problem. Workspace might be, but if you're smartly using them and not creating extra, and if you don't use them, just delete them for now. And if there are more usage use cases, then we can think as a solution, right? Before I move to the next tips, Alexandra, you have question?
Yeah, probably not need to be answered right now, but will there also be a webinar like this where we actually do the research part? I've seen now quite a few webinars on this side of it, but let's say client comes and said, you know, I want a blog post from you, and I actually have to research Fred just to have an example of the workflow, because I find myself using the tools, then going to paper, write it all down so I can refeed it back in. I don't know if I can save it. The workflow is not clear to me. I just wanted to ask if there will be also a webinar on that.
Yes, I think we can do a webinar where we just focus on a situation where the client is ringing to you right now and you take his phone. What if you have already just 8 questions written on a paper when you take his call, and you ask some questions, which then allows you to make some hand notes of those information. Think of this as sales people call this as a discovery call. So whenever they want to sell something to someone, they first wanted to have a discovery call, whether it's the right fit or not. And you can ask some simple question like what business you're in, what's your current situation, what's your future situation. I
found that they usually don't know, and I find it for myself as well as for them hard to put it into words. So how I'm doing it, for example, thinking of let's call coaches again, and then thinking of, so what's the transformation they're going through, and I try to talk to my client and figure this out and find words. So how I used CrawlQ's so far was I did actually the search intent, I did the market research, And I went to, I myself crawled the pages as in you're looking in Yelp, looking in Amazon reviews to get a feeling which word which I would put on the left would give me which content, and then slowly getting a better understanding what is actually the word I should use. Is it efficiency? Is it less distractions and manage your energy? Everything is time management, but to get a better feel of who is Fred and what exactly are the fears. Maybe again I'm overcomplicating it, but before I knew CrawlQ, we had like 67 questions we were going through to get a really solid understanding of what's the client going through. So
yeah, so in those situations where you are working for a client, there are some additional tools which help you to get more better information where client himself or herself is not very clear. So you wanted to use these tools. In the market, there are some different tools like Topic Mozo, or there are tools which go into specific social media. Here, it's not like shiny like information presented. There's still a lot of information here. You can spend like almost 4 or 5 days here going through this information. Now, the first step itself is quite powerful because it's a time management, and then insights, and these insights are turning some question, challenging you in the direction to think where to look and what to look. So what idea would my target audience will have about time management? Here we have not defined yet the target audience, but we are in general talking about what idea they would have, and it will help you to then narrow down your search. So they would ask me what time management is, how it helps. Yeah, okay, right. Here are some questions gathered from my first audience research. Why should I use time management? Is it easy to learn? How do I get started? These are normal questions, right? They will be asking. And now you can think in terms of specific person that you just talk on the phone, right? And narrow down your search. Because if you just go with the time management on Yelp, on Reddit, you will get too much information, but you wanted to narrow it down. So these questions can help you to the research better. What benefits would they have? What suspicion will they have? You can focus maybe more on a suspicion side, or maybe on a mistake side, and then go deeper with this. You also have here like social media, so you can
sorry
go.
to interrupt, but how would I go deeper? So when I find there one question was like, oh, this is such an interesting question. So then do I copy paste it and exchange time management for this new phrase?
Yeah, if you find like something else connected with time management, so let's say mistakes in time management, maybe this is not the best example. You can just come here and then redo this, and
Okay.
then again maybe generate these insights. Or you can also now search like this, so your search is very specific. So mistakes in time management, suspicion, mistakes in time management, benefits, desire, question. And this is exactly the process that is automated in the Train Me Athena. When I said I have main topic of interest, and then it's appending this idea, suspicion, benefit, desire, question. So very large extent, heavy lifting is already done when you do the Train Me Athena. And that's where I would say that when you get a call from the client, just focus on those 7-8 questions, like what is your target audience, where you are trying to focus. Then you have some examples also there. Follow those examples. You train Athena, you generate some insights. Believe me, half of the work that you will be doing by going through Yelp, Reddit, everywhere, it will pull a lot of this information. And if you're still not convinced, you have more tools here. Like you can go with the Facebook pages, Facebook group, Twitter. I use this Twitter a lot, because then when I open this, I'm thrown into this page where I can search on the people who are interested in this topic of time management, mistakes in time management. So I directly go to people and then try to figure out what these people read, what is their specific characteristics.
Okay.
Maybe this Twitter has no such detailed search engine here, so it doesn't understand or doesn't bring us result. But when you say time management, it should give us result. On time management, there are companies are there. There are particular profiles of the people are there. I can go one of the profile and try to understand if this is the right person. So, for example, Hanifa is X-year-old. She is helping conscious professional transform their relationship with respect to time. See, I got a profile. I got ideal customer here to understand. To if suppose my freight that I just talk is similar of one of them, right? Then it's perfect because this person that you just talk has not described in that detail, but you got something similar to that. And then I will use this to train to put in the Athena as ideal prospect overview. So these are extra tools. You can go to Pinterest, LinkedIn. I did some poll in the group where people ask also to add Reddit and some more information here. You can perform search on the videos, podcast. Listen Note is a popular search engine only for podcasts. You can focus on news stories, question answer from Wiki, reference, Quora, books from Product Hunt, Google Books. See, so there's wide resources. And here again, and this part is also, by the way, automated when you do the search intent Athena, because it pull all the relevant topics, trending topics, and also questions people are asking in the search. So if you see it, it's just a tree and it is divided into different questions. Who type of question, who are time now, that's not good. Time management, who got the monkey, not sure. Then there are different why question, why time management is important. So you know now, like when you want to create the content around time management, you should not ask who question, but why question, because people are asking more why, right? This insight is good. And then why time management is ruining our lives, why time management is important in business. You get already a lot of idea here. And these questions are also pulled. So questions are pulled also during the train Athena thing. So a lot of heavy lifting is already done actually when you train Athena. You don't need to spend time. This is what I'm calling it as an automated research on your audience.
And on the right there, is that in a hierarchy or is that alphabetical? Is that with SEO, the related trending topics?
These are just the way it comes when you search something. So it's following the Google's behavior, time management, right? When you do time management, Google also show you in the bottom page. This is in Dutch, Mensevragen. You see here, you see time management app, time management courses. So the hierarchy that you see here is determined by what Google think is searching. People are searching more. So time management is skills. This is what people are searching more. Time management definition, tips, apps, tools. You can see exactly same thing. Time management tips, apps, tools. Here also in normal Google search you do. Of course, it is based on your own history, what you're searching. It's more customized. This is more in general server setting where we are asking this information.
But it is kind of ranked, right? So the one at the very bottom is not searched so much.
I cannot say that's because it is we're just following what Google think is trending top, and I would not be able to tell why Google think that this is on the first and why they didn't put this one top. It's a bit hard because maybe you can see here also time management tips, they're coming first, then courses, the small Dutch searches, but you can see here. So this unfortunately doesn't show you the volume or competition, and it's not like a traditional keyword sense, but more like a trending topics which Google real time showing you. And this is, in my opinion, and maybe many SEOs will disagree with me, but in my opinion, this is much better approach, because we are just following what Google think as the search and trending search. And of course, this also reflect on where you are searching, what you are searching. But I would see this is better approach. And obviously, the SEO will differ on this, because the goal of the SEO is to really rank higher on the search. But here, if you are focusing on what people are searching in general, what is trending, so the trend factor, if you want to bring, then we should use this information. If people are searching more on the time management skills, definitely tips, apps, tools.
Yeah, there's like
right.
not time management and meditation, or time management and nutrition, for example, you know.
Yeah. So it's how people searching more. And if you narrow it down, like time management for coaches, then maybe things will change, right? It depends on what context, and maybe we won't fetch many such results, because it's not available in the Google's APIs. Time management for coaches, time management for business owners, beginners, busy moms, time. It's just giving some variations of the same topic, but it has not gone into a specific audience part. Even Google doesn't go, if you said I'm looking for coaches, give me some information about their problem, pain point. Even directly you cannot search like this. Google doesn't give you good results. All the top 10 results on the Google will not be that good enough. So that's why you need to follow this research path to get into more detail, and not only just try to randomly go on different pages, but follow the structured path to get to the pain point, problems, issues.
Okay, so this is to get an overview, maybe if I want to write about a topic, or if I just get a feel for what are people looking for. But then, you know, as soon as we answer the initial questions and all the main tags are auto-generated by AI, we are ready to go. And then if we want to fine-tune it, we write stuff, we retrain it through the publish URL, or we go back and create insights and modify even more the answers which we put into the market research.
Right. My general suggestion is don't try to follow every step. See what is good enough, what is good enough for the content, and then depending on your goal, because there has to be a lot of iteration when you really want to rank on Google. You need to think about what your competitors are targeting, and you wanted to really do 5 times better than them, because on some like time management, you can't rank. Time management is such a hot topic, you can't rank on it. But unless you go into really detailed time management for coaches who live in Berlin and they have XYZ, then maybe there are chances that you start ranking on those topics. But here you can also see all the competitors topic. You can expand them, you can create questions on them, and again you can answer those questions, and the answers will be specific to your research, and they will not be coming from the competitor content. So I used only this paragraph is used to create these 3 questions. What is the future of AI? What does artificial intelligence do to create large number of content? How many people have a strong opinion about AI writers? Very interesting.
That is what you explained to Norbert, right? If you have a web page, it takes a paragraph and then it creates the questions out of it.
Similar approach followed there as well. When you have a web page, it divides into paragraph. Similar questions are created, and then answers are created. In the URL case, it has more weights to the content. It has more weights, means more correlation with the content, because you wanted to create very factual information there. You don't want to be creative there. Here, you don't want to even look at the competitor content. Why? Because Google will punish. If I take virtually the like paragraphs or things from here, and also my answer is very close, Google will start punishing it, because they will see there's a duplicate content. For URL, the way we created prompt is just to pick the factual information. Suppose top 5 things to see in Berlin. You want to be very factual, like 1, 2, 3, 4 about the distance from city center to that and those things, right? So you don't want to get wrong. And if you pick up exactly those things same, that's okay. But if we are picking exactly the same with what other people are writing, then maybe it's not a good idea, right? But the approach is same. So I ask the answer, and this answer is not here. You can see, I can read if you want, but the question was how many people have a strong opinion about AI writers. I'm not sure how many people have a strong opinion about AI writers, but I think that it is important for people to understand the benefit of using them. I also think that more people will start using AI writers as they become more popular. So I think it's a fair answer in the context of our research, right? So this is how you can consume competitor content. Topics, you can have a look what topics you wanted to cover. And this is really good because maybe you will figure out there's a topic that you should focus, and maybe not other people are not focusing on it. I think it's still a bit like work around. You need to check. Maybe you find something very striking, right? And this is something that you wanted to cover in your article. Is everything is coming, like even the Jarvis AI software, human article. There are many such topics here that competitors are focusing. Maybe we should mention that. I think something going wrong here. It should mention how many times it is mentioned there. So this I need to check with the team. But it should be ranked. It should be ranked like how many times this word is repeated by all the competitors. Then the questions. So if there was a question in Quora, that will definitely come here as well. And news. News is important because you can create external links in the content by using this approach. So if suppose even if I select this, you see there is this thing, right? Link. You can create link. So I can, for example, drag and drop here in the box. And I put on this. Now you see, we have linked this content to this. So this is how we can create even links, external links in our article. So you just create it, or you wanted to do just suggested reading. You can do the suggested reading. So you can drop these links. These are news articles. We chose news because the articles are from the popular like providers, right? These are established search engine journal or entrepreneur or Motley Fool, or these are very popular high authority websites. So anything that you will refer to this will be good for audience as well, because you're not referring to a random website. And
so the difference between the initial spying wizard and everything and this is that this one is closer to what I'm writing in the editor, right?
yeah, this is very close to your writing to editor. The search intent was more pulling the information from Google. This is coming from the Google News. So if you search anything, we did search, right here we did the search on time management. On top, always in Google, you can also do the news here, news. So then the information that you see here, same way it pulls information from the news section. This makes sense, right? So in Google, you can always do the all result or a news result, right? So this is all information on time management that is in the Google. It's like latest coverage in the media. You just 7 hours before. We are almost 55 minutes over the scheduled time. I really want to thank you for patiently attending this, asking a lot of questions. Maybe I'll try to convert this into a short question answer session by asking the video editor just to pull some questions and their answers. And if there are more follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer. Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a great session.
Right.
Learned a
And
lot.
are you, because I know Ursula, Alex, you're from Germany, Norbert, you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you too.
Oh, okay, great. And I didn't hear from Thomas. But I think you can create German content as well. That's what I wanted to check with you.
Yeah, I
So-
tried that. So that's question whether Adrina is also very well trained in German, or if it's learning in a steep learning curve for German.
So the language part is only front end, and while it presented to you, it is converted in the language using a translation, which is DeepL API. DeepL API is much more better than Google Translation, but everything it do in the backend in English, to be honest. Why it is the case? Because all these language models, they are defined pretty well and work well in English. So all the background information, everything, training, backend engine, everything works in English. But when showing to you using a translation mechanism, it convert into the language. So if we are doing very good with English on that topic, then I have no doubt that it will be also very good when using a proper translation. And proper translation here is DeepL API. You can also, when create workspace, you can choose the engine, like the country or language and the engine. And you can also check back again if you're not sure. There are two different engines which are used.
But anyway, I wanted to compliment you. You've done such a big work, a great piece of work, really, in the last month or last year. So I haven't used a CrawlQ AI really well, so I just experimented. But now I'm really inspired to finally dig into it and start writing finally.
Sure. So you can choose engine between Google and DeepL. For European languages, German, Dutch, France, French, Spanish, I suggest using DeepL because it has good results. I got quite good feedback from French and Italian friends or fans.
Brief question here. Can we generate text in English and then translate it? Or do we need to decide upfront?
You need to decide upfront which language you want to have, because otherwise it's getting too much mix up. You need to be very upfront, starting from the workspace creation. Do you want it in English or do you want in another language? And accordingly, then if it's European languages, I always suggest to use DeepL because it has much better performance. And the results are guaranteed to be better because if that topic works well in English, then it's just a translation of that. And otherwise, if we would have done all the backend also in German, because these language models are not trained in German, so the result will be poor and everything will be then poor. So that's why we chose this as a conscious choice.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so there are follow-up questions. Feel free to answer, or I'm active on the group as well. You might have seen, and yeah, just use it to the maximum potential. And it's time to create content, but very specific content for our audience, and make money out of it, right? Niche content and business. Okay, so I wish you a very good evening there. We are in the same time zone, so almost long.
So thank you so much, Harish. It was really good, a great session. Thank you.
Sure. It's my pleasure, and nice evening there. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.